For this trail, I headed to Denny Creek Road, which was just off the I-90 in Snoqualmie and Mount Baker National Forest. I parked just under this bridge and displayed my pass, which was my snowpark permit, and then I came through these barriers where I started the trail.
So this morning I'm here in just north of Bend, Washington, and I'm in the Baker Snoqualmie National Forest, and I'm going to hike to Franklin Falls. So I'm a little bit late to the party because it's been quite warm the last few days and it's starting to thaw a little bit, but I'm hoping to hike to this frozen waterfall, which is normally a pretty easy accessible hike in summer and fall, but in winter is a little bit tougher to get to, so I've just had to park just off the highway under a bridge actually by there, and this is the road that you'd normally drive up to go there in the summer, but it's closed during winter, so it adds a couple of miles to the hike, so that's what I'm doing now. It's pretty cold, it's just 1 degree at the moment, but I've packed a little bit lighter, but I have brought gloves, and I've also got snow chains. I've also got spikes for my boots, because apparently it's a little bit slippy and sketchy up there. A lot of people say to bring poles as well, but I forgot my poles today. But apparently snowshoes are a little bit unnecessary, a little bit excessive. But you can hear the I-90 whizzing by, so it's not very remote. But there is signs saying that there are deer in the area, so I'm hoping that maybe I'll bump into some wildlife. But yeah, have a little look at the hike and see what you think. I've just passed the 1 mile mark on my trail up this Forest Service road, and it's taken me 14 minutes to go 1 mile. I have to be honest, it's pretty uninteresting. There's some nice trees. You'll pass quite a few of these private properties, which I don't know if there's something to do with people that, you know, are to do with the Forest Service or what, but yeah, there's a few of these. There's sections of this road at the moment that are quite slushy, so I can see why it would be closed, because I guess when it's snowing or when it's been pretty cold, this would be pretty iced up, and I guess they can't like get plows up here and stuff, but other than that it's been a pretty straightforward walk. There's a slight gradient increase, but nothing that's that noticeable, and then on either side of the road you've got the I-90, so you can hear that with cars whizzing by and stuff, but it's nothing that's like crazy hard or even crazy interesting, but it will be worth it in the end. That's what I'm telling myself. So yeah. So I'm about 1.75 miles up the road, and I've come to this sort of intersection where the icy road that I've been walking on just comes to a stop. So there's this little turnout here, which I'm guessing is as far as it's been ploughed, and they've made sure that there's an area for cars that have come up, maybe the residents that live up here, to turn around. And then this like snow hump is the continuation of the road. So not too far up here will be Denny's Creek campground, which if you were to come in the summertime, oh shit, I'm slipping over it. If you were to come in the summertime, that's probably where you drive up to and where you park to do Franklin Falls, which would then be a much shorter hike. And also obviously if you want to camp out and stuff, that's where you would head. But it looks like they've only ploughed this far, so I think it's going to be time to slip those spikes on to continue the rest of the trail. So the snow's pretty packed so far. And yeah, the trail is glaringly obvious in the snow here, but it's definitely kind of icy, so I would definitely say from this point on you need spikes. So I'm just crossing over Denny's Creek now, over the bridge, and I can see all the signs for the campground up ahead. But it's definitely getting a little bit more scenic. While there is that noise of the traffic, which is unavoidable on this trail, you do get a little bit more of a sense of isolation. And I think with the dust and the snow, it just brings a new sort of magical element to the trail. But it's pretty, I mean, it's easy, and the snow is really packed actually. I would still say if you're doing this in winter, always bring the spikes and ideally poles. But in lieu of that, I would say that actually you can do most of the trail comfortably in hiking boots. I wouldn't say to wear tennis shoes because it's still packed snow, so it could be pretty slick, especially when it's cold. So yeah. So 2.5 miles into the trail, you come to Denny Creek campground. It's really obviously signposted. The campsite is just down there, but as you can see, it's currently closed. And there's this super helpful trail board with some mileages for you. So you can see Franklin Falls, well, it's been almost scribbled out, is 2 miles ahead. So you're over halfway by the time you get here if you're on the winter trail, and then obviously if you're coming in summer, it's a very short hike indeed. So a little ways up from Denny's Creek, you can see this general parking sign, which is just gonna get a bit closer for you there. This is as far as you'll be able to drive, so even if you come in summer, the rest of the way you'll have to walk. But look at these cute snowmen that people have put up. These are awesome. So cute. And you've got some restrooms just there, and then the parking lot. So just a little bit of tip of information for you. It's not very well, in winter at least, it's not very well signposted. So luckily all trails has got your back. But failing that, if you go this way, past, straight ahead from where you just come from, you're going to be going the wrong way. So you actually want to walk into the car park and then take the trail to Franklin Falls from within the car park that's not currently being used. So when you see the restrooms, you want to take it left from the direction that you'll come in and head that way. The restroom, that's the straight on ahead way, is your restroom. This is the left turn down into the parking lot, and this is where that little trail that's going to take you to the falls will be. So there's some permit information just here, and then there's a little sign just next to it which details Franklin Falls trails directly ahead and Denny Creek trailhead a quarter of a mile ahead. So Denny's Creek would be straight, and then over this wee little bridge is Franklin Falls. So it kind of feels a bit sketchy going over this wooden bridge with all the weight of this snow. And there's a creek. There's some trail information here. So this is an area where black bears and grizzly bears are. So there's some information, and then some information on the trail. So it looks like it's just a mile. And there's a little map which is quite helpful. If ever there's something like this at the trailhead, I'm a big stickler for take a picture of it, because I know All Trails is fantastic and stuff, but sometimes digital stuff fails. So if you've got like a paper copy or just something to show that information, this is really handy. And this is an awful angle that I've done the camera at. One thing that I really like about this part of the trail is it feels like you're on a trail again, because for that big section of the road, it was kind of, while it was pretty to just be in the mountains with the trees and the snow, it was also quite dull, I guess. Whereas this makes you feel a little bit more like you're on a hiking trail. It gives you that especially obviously if you like hiking, you know what I mean. And now it feels like I'm in a forest again. I'm on a little narrow trail winding amongst all these trees. There's a river, creek babbling next to me, and I think this definitely gives that sort of vibe off. So far it's pretty flat from here, but I'm guessing there's going to be an incline at some point to the falls. But you will notice that there are quite a few very small wooden bridges, which in the summer you wouldn't think anything of. But you've got to think there's a hell of a lot of weight of snow on here, so you should still be quite careful crossing, because I mean, if this was icy or if there's more snow on top, it's going to be a hell of a weight on that little bit of wood, so it'd be quite easy for it to crack. So again, that's where poles are pretty helpful on trails like this. So here's another prime example of a very small bridge with a mound of snow over it. It's so narrow. And another one. So the last mile is pretty much a climb up the icy snow. It's nothing too taxing, but after being flat for so long, you do notice the difference. And it's definitely a bit more icy, so those spikes are definitely needed at this section right now. But there's some gorgeous views all around the forest, you know, the river, and with the snow and icicles and stuff. It really is very, very scenic. So less than quarter of a mile to the Franklin Falls. There is this little intersection where you can see Wagon Road Trail down here and Franklin Falls straight ahead. So this section could definitely be perceived as kind of sketchy. It's very steep and very icy. So it's definitely one, as the ice melts, you're going to want to be extra careful with this. And here is Franklin Falls. Oh, it's steep. So this is Franklin Falls. It might not be as icy as it could have been if you come in a more colder climate. It's been about 17 Celsius it's about 68 in Seattle the last few days. So this would normally be frozen like this, but it's not. But it's still beautiful. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this hike. whether you come in the summer or you come in the winter. I'd really like to hear about it, so please comment below. If you'd like to subscribe to the video, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for watching.
I'll never forget.